Hi. Now for this next part, part C, remember we're told that a telesales operator is selling a magazine. Each day he chooses a number of people to telephone, and that probability that each person he telephones buys the magazine is 0.1. And we're now being asked in part C to calculate the least number of people he needs to telephone on a Tuesday, so that the probability of selling at least one magazine on that day is greater than 0.95 for 3 marks. So as usual, if you'd like to have a go at this, haven't done so already, just give you a moment to pause the video. When you come back, I'll take you slowly through the work solution. Or you might want to fast forward just to check it out quickly. Okay, welcome back then if you had a go. So again, for this one, just like we've done in the previous parts to this question, I'm going to say let x be the random variable, okay, the random variable, and it'll be the number of sales. And for this one, we know that x is distributed binomially, so we've got where x is distributed binomially, but we don't know n. That's what we've got to find out in this question. We know the probability of making a sale, it's 0.1. Now we're told that the probability then of selling at least one magazine on that day has to be greater than 0.95. So what we've got then is that the probability of x, the number of sales, being at least 1, so that's going to be greater than or equal to 1, has got to be more than, greater than 0.95. Okay, so that's that statement there. And so it's just a question of solving this inequality really for n, because if we have to work out the probability of x being greater than or equal to 1, that's going to be 1 minus the probability of x equaling 0, no sales, okay? That's going to be greater than 0.95. And if we rearrange this, if we take 0.95 from both sides, 1 minus 0.95 is going to be 0.05. And if I add the probability of x equals 0 to both sides, that's going to be greater than the probability that x equals 0. And it'd be easier, I think, to just reverse this round. So we've got the probability of x equaling 0 would be less than 0.05. Now with this, if we had to work out the probability of x equaling 0, then from the binomial distribution, remember this would be nc0, okay, multiplied by the probability of success, that's making a sale, which is 0.1, to the power 0, and then it would be q to the power n. Q, remember, is 1 minus p, so that's going to be 1 minus 0.1, so that's 0.9 to the power n. And that has to be less than the 0.05. Alright? So let's just section that off there. And continuing with this, NC0, anything C0 is always going to be 1. 0.1 to the power 0, anything to the power 0 is 1. So we're just left with 0.9 to the power n is less than 0.05. Okay? Now, in order to solve this, you could do it, I suppose, by trial and improvement, but I'm going to take logs to both sides. I'm going to choose natural logs. You don't have to, you can choose base 10 if you like, but if we choose natural logs, then what we get is n times the natural log of 0.9. Okay, I'm using the power rule for logs. Remember that if you take the log of 0.9 to the power n, then you can bring the power out the front of the log. And then this is going to be less than the natural log of 0.05. Okay, so take the natural log to both sides, but you could have taken, say, the log in base 10. It's up to you, okay? Now, in order to get n, I've just got to divide by the natural log of 0.9 to both sides. Now you've got to be careful here with inequalities. This doesn't look like a negative value, but remember, if you take the log of any value less than 1, it's going to be a negative value. So I'm dividing by a negative value, so you must reverse the inequality. So do take care over that, okay? Easy to just trip up there, I feel. So what we've got then is this. Natural log of 0.05 divided by the natural log of 0.9. And when you work this out, it turns out to be greater than 28.43, and so on, okay? So n, remember, must be an integer, okay? It's the number of people. So the least number of people, n has got to be greater than this, would be, therefore, least n would be 29. Okay?